I mean, again, he doesn't know who Gabriel is, right? Because he didn't come from an Abrahamic faith. The people of Mecca were pagan.
The Quran is mentioned, if this book was from other than God, they would have found in it many contradictions.
If a book is without contradictions, that has no bearing on whether it comes from God or not. I've had phone books that are inerrant, but I certainly don't think God gave them.
That we believe without understanding.
The brother asked a very important question, that most of the scholars say that listening to music, watching movies, and most of the television programs, they're haram. So how can we have fun? Let me tell you, brother, at the outset, that having fun is permitted in Islam as long as the fun is halal fun.
That the standard narrative has holes in it.
The Prophet tells us because Satan or the devil sleeps over our nostrils. Those who oversleep and not pray Fajr on time, Satan urinates in their ears.
I really do think Jesus was crucified and that he really was dead and buried. He thought that he was a son of God in the sense that he was specially chosen by God. I think Jesus really did think he was going to be the Messiah, the future king of Israel. I mean, that is, after all, why they crucified him.
Hello everyone, and peace of Christ to all of you. Please invite your friends and let us have some halal fun together. I apologize, we are a little bit late. You know, this timer stuck on the screen and I could not take it down, so I had to figure out how to fix it. As you see today, our topic is about Muhammad is the champion of human rights. And you know, you like it or not, you have to agree. I mean, who is better than Prophet of Allah when it's come to human rights? I'm going to open my Skype in case there is somebody from the Muhammadan would like to share with us about how Muhammad is a champion of human rights.
Another unique
in Islamic religion, we know that Muslims really worship Muhammad and they praise him. Actually, his name is the praised one. So they replaced him, they replaced Allah, their God, by Muhammad. Because if Muhammad is the praised one, so who is Allah? As you see in the front of our eyes here, we have a Muhammadan, and he is praising Muhammad again and again. And why Muhammad is the champion of human right? He says that Muhammad, he said,
contemporary world, he says, there stands a crying need for the propagation of this Islamic virtue. And very similar.
Now he is quoting someone, his name is Arnold. Okay, and what does have to do with the Prophet Muhammad? Let us go and move a little bit. And you know, he play for you about black people, people who converted to Islam, they are black, like Muhammad Ali, you know, etc. You know, people, they love money, but we know that all Islam is about money. Is it your God? He promised you gold and silver and sex in heaven. All of it is about material. And then he go and, you know, he quote for us what Muhammad, he said, that in Islam, there is, I don't know where the part, let's see, maybe in the beginning. In Islam, there is the Prophet said, here we go.
Arab, nor for a non-Arab over an Arab, nor for a white-skinned person over a black-skinned person, nor for a black-skinned person over a white-skinned person, except by virtue of their righteousness.
If we ask the Muhammadan where we can find this hadith, we will find that it's not located anywhere in any of the authentic books. If I quote a hadith from the same book, the Muslim will reject. Do you see the hypocrisy? If this hadith is authentic, so why it is not in al-Bukhari? Why it is not in Muslim? Why it is not in at-Tirmidhi? Why it is not in any of those 6 Islamic hadith? And if Muhammad is a person against discrimination, well, isn't it Muhammad, he said, and let us show on the screen, that Allah created the black people and he said to them, you go to hell, and he created the white people and he said to them, you go to heaven? Does that make sense? So Muhammad, he says there is no difference between black and white. Yet he said that Allah created the black to go to hell. You know, we don't say things without proofs and reference. So let us show you together what, you know, Muhammad said. And now we will show you from authentic book, not non-authentic. This is Sahih al-Tirmidhi, the authentic Tirmidhi, hadith number 38. Allah Messenger, peace be upon him, said, Allah created Adam when he created him, and he struck his right shoulder, and there emitted from it white offspring, as if they were white ants. And then he struck the left shoulder, and there emitted from it black offspring, and they were like charcoal, you know. He said to those who are emitted from the right shoulder, which means the white, you go to paradise, and I don't mind, or I don't care. And then he said to those who are emitted from the left shoulder, you go to hell, and I don't care. So how those two statements, they match? I mean, if Islam does not discriminate between black and white, if Islam is not, it's based on your belief, how good you are, how nice you are. Well, according to Muhammad, it was a destiny. And you see, when Muhammad, he mentioned the right shoulder, right present right, left present wrong. So Muhammad, he chose that the offspring of the white race is coming from the right shoulder of Adam. Look like Muhammad, he never heard of something called testicles. I knew it. I knew it from the beginning, that Adam, he used to have sex with his wife from his shoulder. But, you know, you need proofs. But Muhammad, he provided us with the proof. So as you see here, this is a very racist, ugly, disgusting statement. And this is authentic book. This is authentic book. Now, if we continue and speak about a human right, if we continue speaking about discrimination for black people, as an example, we have tons of hadith speaking of discrimination. Actually, if you go in the same book of Musnad Ahmed, let me see, hold on. I just remember something. The same book, just to show you. What is the price of the blood of a person he is black? In the same book. Is it equal to someone he is white? Let us see. Let me try to find. Actually, you know what? Better even than the book, better than the hadith. Let's go to the Quran. I mean, the Muslim, they will say this hadith is right away. They will say the same book they mentioned this hadith from. They will say we don't accept from there. So let us go here to the Quran, and you will see how Islam discriminates between white and black, free and slave. Chapter 2, verse number 178, it says, in the case of murder, the law of equality, in case of punishment, this is a murder. This is not a mistake killing, or somebody, you know, by mistake kill somebody. Let us say you are throwing an arrow at the deer, and then you hit somebody, you killed him. No, this is in the case of murder, all right? If you don't like this translation, you see the Muslim translation is very funny. It says al-qisas. But why don't translate that? They say the law of equality in punishment. What does that mean? And then he continues saying, it's prescribed for you in the case of murder, free for the free, slave for the slave, and female for the female. So if a free white Arab man, he killed a free white Arab man, the white man will be killed. But if a free white Arab man killed a black slave, he will not be killed. We will kill his slave. And if you kill a female, you know, we will kill your female. And you will see here discrimination start from being white, and you are superior, and then going down to you are black or a slave, and then you go down, you know, to a female for female. Now, a Muslim, he might say to you, the interpretation is false. It doesn't say that, CP. We can go right now and see the interpretation. Chapter 2, verse number 178. And this is official government of Jordan, if we can call it government. The king there is just a potato, you know, he's a scumbag. This is why he claimed to be from the descendant of Muhammad. He perfectly fit in that field. And this is the interpretation. You can read any interpretation you want, and you will see clearly that a free man will not be killed for a slave man. You know, slave for a slave. A slave who it's killed another, okay, a female killed another, killed another, blah, 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 blah. Actually, let us go into a shorter one. Al-Jalalain. This is long. And the Muslims, by the way, they agree that even there is something called the price of a blood. So Muslims allow you to kill if you pay the family money and they are satisfied. You are free. You get out. You know, there's no punishment. It says here, "O who you believe, and prescribe for you obligatory for you is retaliation, equality terms regarding slain both in attribute, blah 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 blah." And then he says, "A free for a man is killed for a free man, not for a slave." Do you see it? Let me zoom in. Not for a slave, and a slave for a slave. This is not my interpretation. This is the interpretation of the Muhammad. So Muhammad is a champion of human rights. Why? Because he said, according to them, that in Islam, the best of you in front of Allah is not the one who is white or black, is the best in religion. But isn't it Muhammad, he says that he is from the best of mankind, and his tribe is the best of the Arab, and the Arab are the best of mankind? Let us see. I mean, this debate is amazing. As long all people are the same. So what Muhammad is saying here, and we can show you tons of hadith about that. How Muhammad, he loved to show off, and he claimed that no, people are not equal. People are not equal according to Muhammad. If we go to the hadith, the book of Shish Kebab, Hummus, the yellow pages of Islam, it says, let us see, I'm just trying to find the exact. See, I have tons of hadith in front of me, but I want to find. I want to find something in English, so I do not need to use Google Translation. Okay. Read with me this hadith and let us see. I think we will find this one here. And here you will see the white supremacist Muhammad clearly. It says, "I said, O Messenger of Allah," and by the way, you know, if you don't like this hadith here, we can find a ton of hadith about this, and they will say to you, this is da'if, you know. And the funny here, they say to you, it's da'if, this hadith. But in a Muslim website, in order to answer this fatwa, they quote it, which means it is sahih. Do you see the hypocrisy? Here, it says da'if. Here, And this is the official Islamic website of answering Muslims who speak Arabic. And this is the fatwa number. Here it says Sahih. It says accepted. Otherwise, why they will quote it? You know? And here they are quoting for you that Muhammad is from the best of mankind. So if we read here, and we can use Google translation for that page, it says that the Prophet stood upon the member, the same place he mentioned that story about no black, no white, the same location, the same chair, the same, who I am. They said, you are Messenger of Allah. Upon you peace. He said, I am Muhammad, the son of Abdullah, the son of Abdul Muttalib. Indeed, Allah created the creation, and He put me in the best of a group of them, and He made them into two groups. So He put me in the best of the group of them, and He made them into tribes, and He put me in the best of the tribes, and He made them into houses, and He put me in the best of the houses. Let us find different hadith, because this one, they will say to you is da'if, don't you see? I mean, so a Christian prince is quoting for you a da'if hadith. Let us find a hadith which is sahih. Remember carefully, the best for you is the one who is righteous in front of Allah. But Quraysh are not. Quraysh, the Quran, have tons of verses about how evil they are, how ugly they are, how disgusting they are. So look at this. The Messenger of Allah said, Allah has chosen Ishmael from the children of Ibrahim. And then He chose Banu Kinana from the children of Ishmael. And then He chose Quraysh from Banu Kinana. And then He chose Banu Hashim, which means his family, from Quraysh. And then He chose me from Banu Hashim. But all the tribes He mentioned, they are kuffar. So how the best of you is the one who is more who fear Allah? Do Quraysh fear Allah? And why you are the best of mankind? And what make those Arab? Based on this, well, who is Abraham then? And just to make it more horrible to Muhammad, if the Quran is saying there's no difference between black and white, and there is no difference between Arab or non-Arab, so how we explain this verse? Chapter 2, verse 130. If you don't like the translation, you can change from your side. So let us love together. And the one who turned away from the religion of Ibrahim, between two brackets, i.e. Islamic monotheism, which is funny, except who befools himself. Truly we choose him in his word, and verily the hereafter he will be among the righteous. Okay, so Abraham or Ibrahim, he is chosen. Well, the Christian, they say the same, the Jews, they say the same, right? Well, you know, Abraham, he chose God, you know, he to believe in God. But if you go a little bit down 2 verses, you will see. Actually, let me show you even better verses, just to make it more clear, because some people, they might say, this is not really clear. Chapter 29, verse number 27. It says, and we bestowed on him, Ibrahim, Isaac, and Jacob, and ordained among his offspring the prophethood and the book. So, do Muslims believe that there is a group of people, they are chosen and they are higher than others? Let us continue. The Quran went even farther, saying that the Jews are the highest in the world. Chapter 2, verse number 47. Chapter 2, verse 122. Chapter 6, this is a different one, but let's go with the Jews first. And chapter 45, verse number 16. Let us go with the shortest. O children of Israel, remember my favor which bestowed upon you, that I preferred you from all al-alamin. Alamin, it means even between the genie and the human, not only the human. So the Jews are the best of mankind. They are the best. Allah, He favored them. But we just saw Muhammad claiming that he is from the best tribe and the tribe of Quraysh, but they are kuffar. And Quraysh is from Kunana, and they are kuffar, etc., etc. So all those tribes who they are kuffar, Muhammad claimed they are the best of mankind, and he is chosen from the best. Here we find the opposite. Muhammad is not from the Jews. He is not from the children of Israel. And as you see, Allah, He favored them upon all mankind. Then if we go to chapter 3, verse number 110, we will find the following. You are the best nation was or coming to human being. Who? The Arab in front of him. Remember, the Quran says, we never send a messenger except speaking the tongue is of his people. So when he speaks to the Muslims who they are the Arab. You are the best of mankind, but are thought the Jews are the best of mankind. In order to understand the best of mankind and how Islam stands for a human right, we have to go to this hadith here, where it says, that Muhammadan are the best of mankind, specifically the Arab. Why? Because they bring everybody with the chain around their neck. Remember the name of the video of that guy saying that this is the Muhammad is the champion of human right. He is the champion of a human right. You are the best of people ever raised up for the benefit of mankind. Did you see here it says ever raised? But we just showed you that the Jews were the preferred, even between a human and genie. Muhammad now claimed that the Arab is way higher than the Jews. Forget about the Jews. This is all the news. So you are the first ever raised for the benefit of mankind. And when you see the word benefit, you say to yourself, that's good. I mean, for the benefit, they will make cars for us. They will feed us. They will make medicine. Muhammad, he made it so clear. The best of mankind for the mankind is those who bring them with the chain around their necks until they embrace Islam. And here we understand how Muhammad is a champion of a human right. I mean, it's obvious that he is champion of a human right. He want to bring you, and this is why Islam was very peaceful, attack everybody, went all the way to Spain, took almost half of Europe, they conquer Constantinia, they went all the way, they killed 80 million Indian in India alone. 80 million. You know, the Muslims, they made articles about what the white man did when he came to America. But they will not make article about how many Christians they killed in Iraq, in Syria, in Jordan, how many barbarian killed in Morocco, in Tunisia, Algeria, how many Coptic they slaughter. I mean, no, this is nothing happened there, you know. But everything is in front of us. Prove that Muhammad is absolutely racist. And then racism of Muhammad go farther, where he claimed that even in the day of judgment, human being, they will be divided between two races, white and black. White and black. Let us see how this white and black work. In chapter 3, verse 106, in the day of judgment, Allah will make a human race into two races, which means there is no Asian, forget about the Asian now. There's only white and black. All those who they are not Muslims, they will be black. All those who they are Muslims, Allah will make them extremely white. Now some might say to you, well, he is lying. You can read and the interpretation and you will see. And not only that, if we go to chapter 27, verse number 82, and we can read the interpretation for that from Ibn Kathir, you will see that Allah, he will send a beast from the ground, and that beast have the stick or the staff of Moses and the ring of Solomon. And then this beast is going to hit the believer in his face, and the believer, he will turn extremely white, and will hit the disbeliever in his nose, and he will turn extremely black. And then when people, they gather in the market, this is before the day of judgment, this is resurrection. Now you are resurrected, everybody is gathering, there's still a market, which is funny. And then when people, they gather together, they say, oh, he's a believer, oh, he's a disbeliever. How they knew? Because you are white or black. Let us see. Okay, I choose. We have to go to 82. Okay, 82. Here we go. All right. It says here, when the word fell against them, we shall bring them out of the earth, the beast, for them, who speak to them, because mankind will live not with certainty. And here you see how stupid it is. So now it's judgment day, and you are sending them a beast, and the beast will speak Quran. That's funny. But, the beast, he sent the beast. And the one who teaches Quran is coming from the earth, from the ground. And then Muhammad here, he quote in this hadith here, that this is a sign of the day of judgment, and one of them is the beast who will come. But let us see about what this beast will do. Let us go down. You will see here it says that the beast will emerge from the earth and will have the staff of Moses and the ring of Solomon, and it will strike the nose of the disbelievers with the staff, and he will make his face, the believer, bright with the ring. In fact, it says white bright, not white, not bright. In order to discover if this is the word white really exists or not, you go down a little bit, and you will see this is a description of the beast. And if you read something from the Bible, you will see something similar that will ring a bell for you. Check it out. Then you will see here it says, so it will bring out the staff of Moses and the ring of Solomon, and there will be no believer left without making white spot on his face, which will spread until his face is shining white. See how they lie when they present for you? Like in the same story, just a few lines before they took the white off, they make it shiny, bright. So it's a white spot, and then you will become white, shiny white. As a result, will be no disbeliever left without making a black spot on his face, which will spread until his face is black as a result. Here you will see that even the discrimination of color in the day of judgment, because according to the Quran, then being black is a bad thing, and being white is the right thing, is the good one. And that is in total agreement with the hadith we showed you in the beginning, where Muhammad, he said that Allah created the black from the left shoulder, and he said to them, you go to hell, wala ubali, which means I don't care. And he said to the one who they are from the right shoulder, you go to heaven, or the white, and I don't care, wala ubali. And this is authentic hadith. And for sure, because now the hadith is embarrassment, the Muslim, they will say, we reject it, we don't accept it. But if we continue, we will find discrimination of a human right is all over the place. You know, when somebody speak about a human right, is that including beating the women? The champion of human right? So Muhammad not only discriminate in the case of murder between black and white, not only discriminate in the judgment day that all the one who will enter heaven only white can enter, not only discriminate that he's claiming that his nation, his tribes, so they are kuffar, they are the best of mankind and he was chosen from the best. What about beating your wife? In chapter 4, verse number 34. Maybe this is a champion of a human right too. But we will let that one go. Forget about beating the wife. What about the inheritance of the wife or the women? A man, he take two equal, or he equal to two women in the inheritance. What about being a witness in the court? A woman, she is not even allowed to witness in any case, in the case of murder or capital punishment, only in the case of borrowing money, and it have to be two women at least and one man. What about marriage? Marriage. Can the women have 4 husbands? No, the man can have 4 wives, but the woman, she cannot. Can the woman divorce her husband by text message? This is a privilege only for the man. And if he like, he can switch the privilege to her, but this is his decision. Can a woman force the husband for divorce? Yes, she can, but she have to make him agree. So how she can force him? She did not force him. She will tell him, I don't want your money, I don't want your furniture, I don't want your gift, I don't want your property, I give you everything you gave me back, divorce me. If he agree, then she is divorced. It's called al-khula. But the man, he do not need any of those. He just can say, send text message, and the wife, she is divorced. What about treating the Christians and Muslims? Champion of human right. In the case of murder, is a Muslim will be killed if he kill a Christian? Actually, if you remember that the ketchup boy, he mentioned to us, let me get it, I just remember. He mentioned to us a hadith from Musannaf Abi Shayba. He said in the Musannaf, and I will open the exact same page. So now can this potato says I don't accept it? Musannaf Abi Shayba, page 297. Page 297. Exactly the same page he chose for us. Is it 297 or 279? Guys, do you remember? I think it was 279. I think it was 279. Hold on. 279. Anyone remember exactly the number? To be sure? Is it 279 or 297? I don't want to go to his video. $279. I think it was 2 something. Let me see. Hold on. $479. Okay, that makes more sense. Hold on. Because this hadith doesn't say. I forgot. Like this is something he quote a way ago. 279. You guys are confusing me. It was volume number 6, right? Was it volume number 6? Yeah, actually, there's no two. There's no. Anyway, hold on. Let's see. Four seven seven. Okay. Well, I don't know. I think he, when he said the reference, he did not say such a number. But let us see. Okay, well, look like 477. Here we go. This is the book which is chosen by the ketchup boy, and I will put it for you on the screen, and I will use Google translation. And remember, this potato boy, he was reading for us a notebook claiming that this is a hadith. So now let us read the actual hadith, which is teaching you how to beat a Christian. If a Muslim, he was insulted, the one who insulted him, he will be whipped. If he is a Muslim or not Muslim, doesn't matter. But if a Muslim, he insulted a Christian, the Muslim will not be punished. Doesn't matter if he's insulting or making, you know, like, Qadhi is like, saying, you're like saying your mother is a whore, So this is the same page. This potato ketchup boy, he quoted, very number 6, page number 477. It says here, حدثنا, actually you are right, حدثنا أبو بكر, حدثنا وكيع. You remember وكيع? عن سفيان عن حماد. He says, يوجد حد واحد, and we, in order to read what was this one here, we have to go a page before, so we can read, because this is a continue of previous page. But let's go a little bit down, and we can go back later. It says here, حدثنا أبو بكر قال حدثنا هشيم بن بشير عن مغيرة from Ibrahim. He said, من قذف يهوديا أو نصرانيا فلا حد عليه. The one who insult a Christian or a Jew, there's no punishment. Google translation. Do you see it? Whoever slander a Jew or a Christian, then there is no punishment for him. This is the champion of human right, Muhammad, peace be upon him. And this is what he was quoting for us, this ketchup boy. And there is a note, it says, brother, reader, this is Islam way advanced in human right before what we hear today. Islam is against beating, and then we will show you here, it says, you beat them. You whip them, actually, not only you beat them. And here it says, actually, in this part here, let us see. Let us go to the page before it and the page after it, maybe, so we can have more fun. Okay, it says here. I mean, everything is about beating and, violence. It's just a pure violence. Let us see here. Okay. If we go to page number 478, let's go to page number 478. Look what it says here in page number 478. Abu Bakr, he said, from Muawiyah, he said, إذا كانت اليهودية والنصرانية تحت مسلم فليس بينهما ملاعنة. What does that mean? There is two people, they are fighting about something, and then to have a Muslim, they have a very weird way to prove who is right, who is wrong. So like the first Muslim, he will say, may Allah cut my nose if I'm lying. The other one, he says, may Allah cut my penis if I'm lying. The other one, he says, may Allah break my testicles, make them hummus if I'm lying. And they keep doing that until one of them faint and get tired, and that means he is the liar. So here he's saying that if there is a woman, she is under a Muslim. Look even how rude the word. She's under, like he's jumping her. A Jewish woman or a Christian woman, she is under a Muslim. There is no between them this practice we mentioned. And then he continues here saying, if a Christian or a Jew, he insulted or slandered somebody, he is a Muslim, we are going to punish him severely. حدثنا أبو بكر حدثنا وكيع حدثنا blah 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 blah. It says, they brought to me a man who insulted or slandered a Jew or a Christian. If he says, if I brought to me with a person who insulted a Christian or a Jew, I'm going to beat him. And then he go down here, he says, from Abu Bakr, he said that if a man, he is a Muslim, and he insulted a woman, she is a Christian, but she is married to a Muslim, then we will beat him. Because what? Because now she have honor. She is married to a Muslim. If she is not married to a Muslim, she have no honor. Which means he said she is a whore or whatever, slander her, you know, just because she is married to a Muslim, we will beat him. Here it says, number 2, we mentioned, narrated by etc., that if a Christian woman or a Jewish woman, she was slandered and she have a husband, he's a Muslim, and she have a son from him, the one who insulted her or slandered her, he have to be punished. If a Muslim man, he insulted a woman, she is a Christian, or she is a Jew, this is a different opinion. Even if she is married to a Muslim, he will not be punished. So all those here in front of us is telling us the human right of Muhammad. What about killing? You see, we are just using the book of so-called Sheikh Uthman, who do not know read 2 Arabic words. What about in the case of murder? Muhammad, he said it clearly, that in the case of murder, a Muslim will not be killed. For killing non-Muslim. You see this says? So if a Muslim man, he killed you and you live in the Middle East, you will not be killed. Who said that? Muhammad. And this is Sahih. This is the champion of a human right. But if a Christian, he killed a Muslim, the Christian will be killed. No question. The human right of Muhammad is all over the place. Now, what about Muhammad torturing people? Muhammad, remember, the champion of a human right. Have you ever heard of somebody, he is a champion of a human right? He captured his enemies, or let us even say criminals. Let us say criminals. And he started torturing them and putting nails in their eyes. Let's find it. Muhammad, he cut their feet, he cut their hands, he crucified them, and then he gouged their eyes out. How he did that? He put nails in the fire, and as you see, this is sahih, and then he put the nails inside their eyes. Do you see it? But remember, Muhammad is a person who was sent as mercy for all mankind. You know, when Jesus was on the cross, and he is the one who have nails in his hands and nails in his feet, he said, Father, forgive them, they do not know what they are doing. Muhammad, he enjoyed torture. What about a woman? Her name is Qurfa. Muhammad, he cut her 2 pieces when she was alive. Even the Muslim book says, I don't know if anyone have the reference in English, can, you know, but let me search for it in Arabic. And this is all Islamic books, by the way. We are not quoting, you know, we are not quoting the enemy of Islam, so people will say, what do you expect? I mean, those are the enemies, but this is the Muslim books. A woman, she is over the age of 86, something, almost 90. Muhammad, he cut her 2 pieces by tying her legs between 2 camels, and he ordered the camels to walk in 2 different directions. So he split her 2 pieces. And this is a book the Muslim they quote always, including the ketchup boy. At-Tabaqat al-Kubra, Muhammad ibn Sa'd, volume number 2, page number 90. And let me give you the link before we continue reading. Hold, give me a second. I need to shorten the link. Remember, the Prophet is the best champion of human rights. I mean, what a big deal. Tying a woman alive. She is over the age of 60, 86, or 90 years old. So what? I mean, things happen. Put yourself in his shoes. Muhammad at that time, he don't have TV. He liked to watch horror movies. So this is the hadith in front of you. All what you need to do, you open the link, and as you see, this is very official Islamic website. This is called Shia Library, but the book is a Sunni. Just take a note. So if we take this hadith here and read the story, and as you see, this is written by Muhammadan, not by me, and we use Google translation, it says, I'll use Google translation in front of your eyes, but let me read first in Arabic. It says, قرفة وهي عجوز كبيرة فقتلها قتلا عنيفا ربط بين رجليها حبلا ثم ربطها بين بعيرين ثم زجرهما فذهبا فقطعها وقتل النعمان etc. So he killed even her family. So, and by the way, even they took her daughter and they raped her too, and they made her for sex. You see here, وابنتها, they took her daughter too to rape her. So let us translate. I mean, the Arabic is horrible, but let us see what the English will say. Like especially where it says وهي عجوز كبيرة. She is really very old. فقتلها قتلا عنيفا. He killed her in a very violent killing. Even the Muslim describing that very violent killing. He tied her legs ربط بين رجليها حبلا ثم ربطها بين بعيرين. He tied her legs to a rope, and he tied those ropes to 2 camels, and then he ordered them ثم زجرهما فذهبا فقطعاها. So they split her pieces. Translate using Google translation. Qurfa, a very old woman, and he killed her violently. He tied her legs with a rope, and then he tied her between the two camels, and then he ordered the two camels like to run, and the two camels, when they run, they split her two pieces when she is alive. Anyone have a doubt for a second that Muhammad is a champion of human right? If there's any Muslim want to tell us how he is the champion of human right? A very old woman, and this is your books. This is your books. This is not written by Christians. This is a Muslim, something you are proud about. Somebody is saying cannibalism. In fact, there's a professor. He made a speech in YouTube, very silly person, speaking about how amazing a person who is very important in Islam. His name is Khalid ibn al-Walid. But this guy, Khalid, he cooked a human. He ate the soup of his head, and he raped his wife. The human right go more wide. What about we can read the Pact of Umar when he invaded Jerusalem and how he treated the Christians? You can go right now and search the Pact of Umar. You will find it in English. You can find it in my books. You can find it on the internet. The Pact of Umar telling you how much human right Muslims believe in. Muhammad is the champion. And not only that, they say to you, Umar was the most person and just. Umar, he saw a woman, she is covering her hair, and she is a slave. He did beat her. He said to her, are you trying to make yourself equal with the free? I have a mental woman. She kept texting me. I'm talking, I'm busy. And this mentally ill woman, she don't stop texting me. What's wrong with people? Let me block you. And I blocked her like 1,000 times. Very sick. Do we have any Muslim on a chorus? Do we have any Muslim on a chorus? And please don't send me those messages in Skype saying to me, God bless you, sir. That is not what I'm looking for. You're just making me click to see for nothing. Do we have any Muslim would like to call us and maybe you can prove us wrong? Anyone? A Muslim saying to me, repent, CP, before it's too late. Let us call him. Maybe he can help me to repent. I like to repent. A Muslim is asking me to repent. A man who follow a person who cut women to pieces when she's alive and she is very old is asking me to repent. How sick. Any Muhammadan? Anyone? Who is a proud Muslim? He have any comment about what I said? By the way, I did not mention yet, I mean, your prophet, he tortured a Jew to take his money, he killed him, torture. I mean, the same, I mean, more than this, I mean, more than cutting the women to pieces, just for the money. And you know, the champion of human right is the same champion who come with law, says that in, you know, as a punishment, you crucify people, you cut their hands and you cut their feet. There's a hadith about a person, he committed theft. They brought him to Muhammad. Muhammad, he said to them, he said, the Prophet, he committed theft, so we should cut his hand. He said, kill him. And this is supposedly a wise statement. The Muslim, they say, but Prophet, he just commit theft. The Quran says, we cut her hand. I said, okay, cut his hand. Second time, the guy, he came, and he commit the same crime. So now they cut his foot. First time they cut his right hand. Second time they cut the other side, as the Quran says. You cut the other side, you cut his foot. The Prophet says, kill him. They said, Prophet, but he did just commit theft. Said, okay, cut his foot. They cut his foot. He came third time. Muhammad told them, kill him. He said, Prophet, but he just commit theft. Said, okay, cut now the left hand. So now he have 2 hands is gone, 1 foot is gone. The guy, he came, and he commit theft again. And they cut his last foot. Okay. But the guy, he commit theft again. Even though he have no feet left, he have no hands left. And the Muslim, they say, see, it's a miracle of Allah. Let me see if I can find the hadith. Anyway, sometimes you ask yourself, when the Muslim, they wrote those stories, do they even have a brain? I mean, obviously, this is a fabrication. Like you see, we are trying to show you how faithful Muhammad is, but there is a lot of exaggeration here, right? Let me see if I can find the hadith in English here. Here we go. A thief was brought to the Prophet of Allah, and he said, kill him. And here you ask yourself, Muhammad, he claimed that he is just a prophet and he forgot God. Do Muhammad knew the future? Why you are saying kill him? The guy, he just commit theft. Is that how easy to kill? The Muslim, they want to show you that Muhammad is God. He knew what he would do in the future too. So he said, kill him. The people says, but he has committed theft. Messenger said, okay, well, cut off his hand. And then, so his right hand was cut off. Then he was brought again, second time. And they said to him, he said to them, kill him. The people say, but he just committed theft. Messenger of Allah said, okay, cut his foot. So they cut his left foot off. And then he was brought the third time. And he said, kill him. The people, they said, but he has committed theft. Messenger of Allah said, okay, cut off his hand. He now say down, now they cut the left hand. So now what we have, he have 2 hands is gone, 1 foot is gone. Now they brought him for the 4th time. And he said to them, kill him. The people, they said, well, he has committed theft, Messenger of Allah. So he said, okay, cut off his foot. So they cut his right foot. And then the story continued, and he was brought for the 5th time. Muslims, a guy, he have no hands, he have no feet. How he stole for the 5th time? Any Muhammadan can tell me? The guy he stole for the 5th time? This guy was doing robbery without hands, without feet. Do you think he used his penis to steal? Like he dip it in glue and then he touched the apple and he take it? Here you see how those people, they fabricate, they exaggerate about their prophet, how wise he is. Well, he told us from the beginning, kill him, man. He told us from the beginning, you did not listen to the prophet. You did not listen. Look, here we go. He commit theft for the 5th time. But the guy, he have no hands, he have no feet. I mean, what the heck? And you know, the champion of a human right is Muhammad. If you cut the hand of a person, you know, what is the reason to cut a hand of a person, Muslim? Somebody tell me. What is the value? For what reason? Any Muslim? An egg? An egg. You cut a hand of a human being for stealing 25 cents. In America, it's not even 5 cents. And when you cut his hand, did you correct him? And how come you're Muslim, you did not cut the feet of Muhammad? I mean, isn't you Muslim, you speak about how many things Muhammad he stole from people, to the point they accuse him that he stole an underwear? Any Muhammadan? I don't see any Muhammadan texting me. If a person, he stole an egg, or even he stole a rope, we cut his hand. The human rights champion. And by the way, if you steal it from a Christian, it's okay. As long as the Christian is not under the protection of paying jizya, which means mafia. You pay the mafia, the Islamic mafia, then you are protected. Only them they can steal from you. Other person, if he steal because he's stealing from them, then look what Muhammad he said. Abu Hurairah reported, and what the Muslim they will say now, they will say this is da'if. You see, this is sahih. This is sahih Muslim. This is sahih Bukhari. Allah Apostle said, Allah cursed the thief who steals an egg or a helmet, for which his hand is to be cut off. The champion of a human right. A person who steals an egg, he is not a thief, my friend, he is hungry. Do we agree, people? A person who steals an egg, a real thief, he robs someone rich, he take gold, silver, not an egg. You want to cut a hand of a human being for stealing an egg, and you are the biggest thief in the world? the human right champion. If I see somebody, I have, let us say, I'm doing shopping and I'm going to my car and the guy, he ran and he took an egg from me. Shall I go after him and cut his hand? Is that an act of mercy? Do you think really this guy is a thief? Or this guy is desperate to eat? This is a very sick person. And yet the Muslims, they make videos saying that the Prophet of Allah, Muhammad, is the champion of a human right. Not to mention rape, you know, what about child abuse? I mean, it's taking Aisha. Who of you did save the hadith about Aisha, her mother, she feed her cucumber? Who of you did save it? When Aisha, she wants to be sent to Muhammad so he can sleep with her, they start feeding her cucumber because she is so tiny. And Aisha, she said that. Child abuse. What about in the heaven? In the heaven, you will have 80,000 little boys who they are going to be your slave for eternity. The champion of human rights. What about the women who they are made just for sex for you? She is just a sex accessory. Anyone have the hadith about the cucumber? Nobody is saving reference, huh? Let us see who is going to post the text for us. Yeah. Well, the admin, he posted. So you will see here that Aisha, she was fed by cucumber in order to get bigger, as if she is a goat. And this is sahih. My mother, Aisha, she said, intended to make me gain weight to send me to the house of Allah Messenger. But nothing which she desired benefit me, till she gave me cucumber and fresh dates to eat. Then I gained as much weight she desired. She's a goat. She's been to be sent for slaughter in the festival day. Is that the Prophet of mercy? Raping, killing, riding tribes, taking their women, taking their children. The Muslim, they say to you that in Islam we don't kill kids. But for sure, this is absolutely a lie. If we ask them what is kids, what does exactly kids mean? Then the Muslim world will change about what kids is. So when they want 6 years is a kid. When they want 6 years is mature, as you say, Aisha. When Muhammad, he attacked the Jews and he killed all the Jewish men, he did not kill children, Muslims they say. But in fact, he did kill most of the children, except the one who don't have hair, little hair, around his pubic area. And you know, in case you do not know, Middle Eastern, they have hair in a very early age. We are by nature hairy booter. So this is a story here, and this is in Sahih Hadith, reported in many places, that the reason he was not killed, he's a child from Bani Qurayza, the Jews. I was a young boy, and they were not sure about me, but they did not find any pubic hair, so they let me live. Here I am among you. That means they killed all the children who have little hair around their pubic hair. The champion of a human right, the wife beater, the child molester, the kidnapper, the torturer, the hand cutters, the beheader. He is extremely, and the one who cut a woman 2 pieces when she was alive. If there is any Muslim have an objection for what we said? And you know, like the statement of Aisha is very funny, that when she ate a cucumber, she get fat. That is the most hilarious thing ever to hear. Because cucumber does not make you fat. That's stupid. Any Muhammadan? Any half Muhammadan? Any Muslim sheikh? Anyone? Well, we are talking about the last sermon, my friend, and we got it busted. The last sermon is not really coming from any authentic hadith. As you see, the last sermon is not in the authentic books. They are quoting the book then themselves. When they want, they don't accept. When they want, they accept. And actually, there's tons of reporters about this hadith is mawdu'a. But because this hadith benefit them these days to fool black people, to make them believe that Islam is, you know, is not racist, so they quote it. But we know that the Quran discriminate the even what is the reason the black stone is black? You see, somebody would say, well, you know, if Islam is racist, so why Muslim they kiss a black stone? Doesn't make sense. Muhammad, he made it clear. The black stone was white like milk, whiter than milk. Then the sin of mankind made it black. Do you want more ugly than this? So according to Muhammadan, sin make you black. I'm trying to find the hadith from Mufti Menk. Maybe we can find it. Okay, let's see. Research for black stone, we get the black magic hadith. Let us see, let us see. I mean, what's wrong with you two? We search for the black stone and show me black magic. It's always better to hear it from the Muhammadan. Let us see if we can find it, if we can find it. I remember once I played the video of Mufti Menk about the black stone. Okay. Here we go. We found another Abdul telling us the story.
Milk, and it turned darker, and it turned darker and darker, and it turned. It was placed there by Ibrahim alayhi salam in this corner. In the narrations, it described it as it was whiter than the milk, and it turned darker and darker, they say, according to the sins of human beings, until it became black stone.
See? So sin make you black. Sin make everything black, even stones. Otherwise, the black stone is not black. It's white. Actually, if we go to the Tafsir, we will find that the Arab before Islam, the Muslim women, Muslim women, they are pagan anyway. They go to the black stone, and the black stone is made in the shape of a vagina for a reason. Because simply, it is a vagina. So a woman, she did not have children yet, or she is trying to have children. She go around the black stone, around the Kaaba. She do Hajj, exactly the same as they do today. And then after she walk or go around for each time, some they say like after she walks 7 times, some they say each time she walk around the Kaaba, she stop in the front of the black stone, and then she put her hand over her vagina, and she do that when she have her period. She do that only when she have her period. And the reason she do that simply because she want her period to stop, which means she want to have baby. As long as she is having a period, that means she is not carrying a child. So she put her hand in her vagina, and then she inserted inside the black stone, praying to Allah to make her, to fertilize her, to make her have a baby. And they believe the reason this woman, she cannot have a child, because she committed sin. That's why this guy, he said, it was the sin of mankind who made the black stone black. It was white. And if any Muslim want to say this is a lie, well, I have my Skype open. I challenge you to call me, and I will make you read the reference by yourself. Actually, even Al-Hajj, called Al-Hajj wrongly, it's called Al-Haq. Al-Haq means like you scratch something with something, or you touch something with something. So after the woman, she put her hand like this guy, and she have a blood from her vagina. And by the way, they go naked, totally naked around the Kaaba. You need to ask yourself, what was the religion of the people who go around the Kaaba totally naked? Totally naked. So after the naked women, she go around the Kaaba naked. Then the man, he come and his penis, you know, is naked too. Then the husband or the spouse or the partner, he will insert his penis inside the black stone hole, and then he will rub his penis on the black stone. So his penis will get the blessing of Allah, and the vagina will get the blessing of Allah, and then they will have a baby. And here you see, this is Sahih Muslim, this is Sahih Bukhari, this is Sahih. They can't say this is da'if. It says here clearly, in the pre-Islamic period of ignorance, and by the way, this is false, because this is what's happening in the time of Muhammad. And Muhammad never, there's not a single word in the Quran about stopping people going naked around the Kaaba. Never. Never, never. And here you ask yourself, how come Muhammad never opened his mouth? You don't find even a hadith of Muhammad saying, stop going naked around the Kaaba. Never. Muhammad, he saw a woman, and actually if you read my book, Section Allah, you will see the story. He saw a woman, she was naked and she was singing. Muhammad, he wanted to have sex with her. He got jealous. He didn't want any men to like to look at her, you know. So there's a story there about what happened. But we don't find anywhere in the Quran where it says, don't go around the Kaaba naked. And Muhammad, he waited until the last day of his life, and still people, they are going naked around the Kaaba. It says here, in the pre-Islamic period of ignorance, the people used to perform tawaf of the Kaaba naked, except in certain time. Right? Do you see it? Totally naked. What was the religion? Is worship there? Any Muslim? And by the way, until now they are still naked, in case you do not know. The Muslim now, they wear a sheet following the Hindu practice. Obviously Muhammad, he copied that from the Hindus. If you look at the Hindus, especially the priest, they have their own temple, which is like a Kaaba, and they have a black stone, present a vagina and a penis. And then the Hindus, they believe it's a holy thing for them. And the Hindu, he wear a sheet, just a piece of sheet, he's wearing nothing. And this is exactly what the Muslim, they do. They wear a sheet. The same sandals, the same sheet, the same shoulder is showing, and they shave their head exactly the same as the Hindus. And this is why I have a strong belief that all the practice of the Kaaba worship and act is, as ritual, is coming from the Hindus. Even though the stones are coming from the temple of Al-Maqqa, which is in Yemen, which is the moon god temple. Yeah, lingam. They call it lingam, I think. Yeah, lingam. So the black stone simply is a private part, and that's why the black stone have that shape, you know. If you remember, once I went to a Muslim website and they have a chat, and I asked them, I have a question, Assalamu alaikum, blah blah blah, and then the guy, and I posted actually in online, I don't know if you have it. I said to the guy there, the one who want to convert me to Islam, I have a question, by the way. I mean, Islam is not a pagan religion, right? He said, yeah. I said, so why the Prophet, he kissed the black stone? Took him like a few minutes, and then he answered back saying, because it's holy. And I said, then, okay, and why it's holy? Took him a few minutes more, and he answered back saying, because he kissed it. Why the Prophet kissed the black stone? Because it's holy. And why it's holy? Because he kissed it. Have you ever heard of a stupid answer like this? And now if you ask the Muslims, why you are kissing the black stone? Or why the black stone in the shape of a vagina? Or why it's important? Why God cared for a stone? Any Muhammadan? And to make it more horrible, Omar, he said, I know that this is stone, I know that you are useless and harmless. But because the Prophet, he kissed you, I'm going to kiss you. But this doesn't mean Muhammad is a hypocrite and a liar. Because if the stone is useless, so why Muhammad kiss it? Huh? If the black stone is useless, harmless, why he kiss it? Muhammad. You see, actually, the statement of Umar destroy all the lies Muslim, they come to us with it, saying the Prophet said that the black stone is the right hand of Allah. Okay, let us take that for granted. It is the right hand of Allah. And whoever kiss it, he kissed the hand of Allah. Wonderful. The black stone sent from heaven, and she was white, and is going to witness for us in the day of judgment. Okay, I will take that for granted. Then Umar is a companion of Muhammad in the time of Muhammad. He said, I know that you are just a stone, that you cannot neither do any harm nor give benefit. Had I not seen Messenger of Allah kissing you, I would not have kissed you. That's mean everything Muhammad he said about the black stone is a lie. It's not sent by Allah. It's useless. Because if Allah sent it, it means there's a use for it. And by the way, we can debunk all the idea or the whole Kaaba thing. And I will give you a very short, easy to debunk a Muslim claim about the Kaaba is the center of the earth and Allah chose the location. You know, Allah, He chose the location of the Kaaba. Yes, brother. Okay. Let us take a look. Allah, He chose the location of the Kaaba, and this is the Kaaba covered by sewage water. Allah, He chose, and you will notice that the Kaaba is like filling in the side. Do you notice that? This Kaaba was rebuilt many times, collapsed many times, because the water will go, and not only water, even like many people, human, they destroy it. Like Al-Qurmati, he took the black stone, he make it a pupu stone for 21 years. But here you notice the location of the Kaaba chosen by Allah. How stupid this God is. If he go 300, 400 meters away from that location will not be flooded. So why he chose this location? In case you do not know, the city of Mecca does not have sewage. They have something called Bayyara. Bayyara is like septic tank. So little rain will make the flood, and then all the shit, excuse my language, will come from the Bayyara. And you will see the cake of shit floating over the water. They swim, mashallah. And then all this garbage will go down to the lowest part of the town, the Kaaba. And it was not Allah who saved the Kaaba from the flood. It was the American engineers. And until now, actually, it's still under risk. As you see, this guy is even swimming here. And this is his picture later, which means this is not long time ago. You see, we're talking about a camera. This is the picture of the same guy who was swimming when the Kaaba was flooded. What do you think? Another proof that the Kaaba thing is a silly pagan thing, and the black stone. The Muslims, they say Allah is in the black stone from heaven, but if you check, you will find there's no black stone left. There's little tiny rocks. They are gone. This is what is left of the black stone. All the space there is wax. All of it is wax. Dark brown, expensive wax. They bring it from Pakistan, and the one who do maintenance to it, he himself is from Pakistan, and there's no black stone left. There's a small rocks, and Erdogan, he stole one of it, and it is now in Turkey. So if this is a stone sent by Allah, shouldn't Allah, and is going to witness for you until the day of judgment, well, the stone is gone. If I type here the word Siyana, which means maintenance, the maintenance of the black stone. Watch with me. Look, and even there's a video on YouTube, by the way. This is a video on YouTube. See? This is a video on YouTube, 2013. This is how they do maintenance to the black stone. This guy is burning the wax because when people, they touch it, the wax will come out and the stones, they will become loose and people, they can steal. This is why they have a policeman next to the stone, so people will not steal it. The second they notice that the wax around those rocks became weak, right away they stop anyone from touching them. They bring the guy so he can do maintenance. So if this is a stone made by Allah, sent by Allah, and there's nothing left of it, it's gone, and we need to do maintenance to it, how that can be from Allah? So the flood of the Kaaba proved Islam to be false. And there's no stone left, as you see, little tiny rocks. So what you are kissing the rocks. And what make it more funny, the Muslim, they call everybody pagan. They call you pagan. I hope we have a good time together. Feel free to download the video. As you see, like we put some time in the beginning, so people will know that we are coming live on air. And so next time if you see it, this way you know that there's a timer. You look at the timer, it's going to tell you when it's going to go live on air. Please download the video as soon as possible, and you can cut the beginning where the timer is running. There's no talk. I hope you guys have a good time and you learn something good. And as you see, for sure, Muhammad is a champion of a human right. Yes, he cut hands, fingers, took nails out, put it in the eyes. He cut a woman to pieces. He cut hands for somebody he stole an egg. But he's merciful. Allah, he sent him as a mercy for mankind. Yes, he attack you in your home. He kill you, take your wife, rape her in front of your eyes or in front of your children. He take your money, he take your TV, he take even your sandals as he did to the Jew. Even the donkey Afur. But he is the champion of a human right. Yes, he claimed that the black people will go to hell and white people will go to heaven. But remember, he is not racist. It's true that he said that there's a beast will come, will make all unbelievers black and all believers white. But remember, that is not racism. That is just a lie. He don't know how to recognize us on the Day of Judgment. So he have to make us colors, black and white. As simple as that. And not only that, actually, I forgot to mention to you that before you enter the heaven of Allah, Allah will give you additional drink. You drink it and you become even whiter. And even Muhammad, he claimed, because he's obsessed with the white color, that even the women in heaven and even the boys, they will be like pearls. The boys will be like pearls, white, very white. The women, they are not only white, but you will be able to see the marrow of their bones. And all of you will be so white. You see here, they say to you, the Prophet said, and this is Al-Bukhari, the first batch of people who enter paradise will be glittering, between two brackets. The fact it says they will be shiny white. Durri. You will be so white, like a full moon. And the batch next to them will be glittering, you know, like this. Like the most brilliant star in the sky. Their heart will be as the heart of a single man. And etc. And then he continues saying, and then Allah will give you the females, which for sex, who Allah will take jealousy because simply they are accessories. So don't worry about jealousy of those women. They will have sex with you, all of them, and nobody will have jealousy. Nobody. So there's no fight inside the house. Oh, you kissed her more. Then Allah, he will take their jealousy because they are made of silicone, obviously. They have no feeling. He killed their feeling. Champion of a human right. Women are made just for sex. And then every one of them, he will have 2 wives of the houris, and they will be so beautiful and whore, transparent to the point you can see the marrow of their bones. This is how white they are. And for sure, this is very beautiful. We have to agree. Imagine you have a beautiful wife, so beautiful to the point you can see the marrow of her bones. We have to admit that this is very sexy and very beautiful. And I don't think any man, this is every man's dream. We have to be honest here. How many of us dream every day to have a woman, she is so white, to the point we can see her bones? That is so beautiful. You are in heaven, and now those girls are doing nice show for you. Sexy dancing. Use your imagination. Who can deny that this is so beautiful? So when the Prophet, he mentioned to us, and look at this position, MashaAllah, MashaAllah, MashaAllah. So now you are in heaven, and you are looking, and you are so horny, because this is so beautiful. This is the most beautiful scenery ever I saw in my life. I can't stay single no more. I have to do something about it now. Those pictures increase the urge of every man. A man, he cannot resist this beauty. We are sick of seeing meat. It's time to see bones. So you look at your wife in the heaven, and you say to her, hold on. This is not what a husband do. This is what a dog will do. Dogs like bones. Why you are excited? And then you will say to her, I love every bone in you. Every single bone. And even the shoes, by the way, they will be see-through. Look at this. What the heck is that? That's, I mean, the one who took those x-rays really... Oh boy. All right. So this is Muhammad. This is how racist he is, to the point the promises of those who will be in heaven, all of them, they will be white. Even the accessories, which is the boys, the sex toys, the women, they are extremely white, to the point you will see their bones. You might think this is it's just like, you know, you will see that this is about how white they are. You know, when somebody is extremely white, you can see the veins, the blood under his skin, you know. So Muhammad is speaking about how white they are. And he's speaking about you and yourself, how white you will be, as you see in front of you. You will be whiter than the moon. You remember the video? The guy, he looked at the Prophet, he looked at the moon, he looked at the Prophet, he looked at the moon, he looked at the Prophet, and you look at the moon and he said, oh, the Prophet is more pretty than the moon. More white. Is more white in the darkness of night. This is a supremacist white cult. Pagan, sexual, violent, and dangerous. I hope we share with you what is enough for you for today. Tell your friends. As you see, YouTube is trying to put our view down. You know, people are not receiving notification. I have in this account, I think, more than 90,000. And then nobody is notified. It doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense at all. Like if I have 9,000, I would say, okay, I have 500, you know. If I have 10,000, 20,000, we have almost 100,000. How in the world nobody is being notified? This is why we say subscribe to Patreon, because Patreon will send you an email immediately that Christian Prince, he posted something, and you will know that I'm going live. All right? And this is always, you know, Patreon is good because you will be able to find where I'm going to go live. Because what if today YouTube took down our channel? You never know. You see, each time I have a channel reach 100,000 something, YouTube take it down. Otherwise, I should have millions of subscribers. You see, I'm not lucky like David Wood. He have, for the last 10 years, 12 years, they did not take his channel down. Me, I lost tons of channels. And then I learned by time, the only way to survive it is not to keep videos. That's why I don't keep videos. Did you ask yourself why I don't keep videos? This is the only way to survive. So my channel can be deleted immediately. David Wood, he have videos from 10 years ago. I don't have a video even from last week. So in order, and you know, for us, we don't care really about the numbers of subscribers because people will come wherever I go, who care? But the important is You don't want to be disconnected. If you like to join us and you care to join us, and then you say to yourself, okay, this account is gone. Where am I going to find him? Patreon. We made an account in TikTok. Maybe they will take it down, but we always will update you. So for now, we have Patreon. You go there. You don't even need to subscribe, by the way. Just go to my account. You see this in the screen. The last video I posted is going to be where I am. Very simple. If you click on it and it says, a Christian princess talking for sure, or it's coming, you know, soon, that's mean this is the channel I'm going to go live in. So always you can follow up by going to Patreon, and you can update yourself about the new location we will be in. Yeah, actually I have an account in Rumble. I check, but I did not load any videos yet, so maybe I should start using it too. Right? Yeah, but you know, we are doing great. Thank, you know, by the grace of the Lord, you know, a lot of Muslims leaving Islam. You know, I cannot believe it, actually, me myself, how many they left Islam watching my videos, reading my books. You know, many of people, like you witness maybe hundreds, maybe thousands of people left Islam live on air, and you are witness, right? But there's way more of people leave Islam under the air because they are afraid to say, you know, this is a violence cult. So when one person, he called me and he said, I am out of Islam after the debate, there's 20, maybe 30, they left Islam without calling on air because they are afraid. So you cannot imagine how huge the number is. And this is why the Muslims, they find my videos are extremely dangerous to their cult. But it's too late. And the more they fight me, actually, the more I work harder. And you notice that, don't you? The more you fight me, the more hard I work. And I work for my Lord. And this is why our videos in Patreon, they are for everybody. You don't need to donate. I'm not doing this to make, you know, people, they support us. Thank you very much. We need your support. But we are not doing this because you are donating. And the proof, we give our books for free, our service for free. The one who donate and the one who don't donate, they are treated equally. And that make me the champion of a human right, not Muhammad. You know, because the people, they say to me, well, if you close that video, only people who donate, they will see it, then you will get more donation because people, they get curious. You know, they want to watch, they want to see. They feel they have a privilege. I said, no. Isn't it enough we give a privilege to the rich when we open the door of the hotel for him and say, welcome, sir. If you are poor, nobody will welcome you. Isn't it enough the poor, he die from hunger, he die from illness, he have no medicine? Isn't it enough that the child, he grew up in a family, he have to work to feed his little kids? I mean, his brothers. So even videos, we will make it for the rich and no videos for the poor. That is not me. So the Lord, he provide us, and he will never leave us alone. And we are here to help everybody, the poor before the rich. Thank you very much for being here. May the Lord bless you all. And I will see you again. Christ is Lord. And Muhammad is the champion of violence and hate crime, not human right, as they said. Thank you.
But I mean, again, he doesn't know who Gabriel is, right? Because he didn't come from an Abrahamic faith. The people of Mecca were pagan.
Quran is mentioned, if this book was from other than God, they would have found in it many contradictions.
If a book is without contradictions, that has no bearing on whether it comes from God or not. I've had phone books that are inerrant, but I certainly don't think God gave them.
That we believe without understanding.
The brother asked a very important question, that most of the scholars say that listening to music, watching movies, and most of the television programs, they're haram. So how can we have fun? Let me tell you, brother, at the outset, that having fun is permitted in Islam as long as the fun is halal fun.
That the standard narrative has holes in it.
The Prophet tells us because Satan or the devil sleeps over our nostrils. Those who oversleep and not pray Fajr on time, Satan urinates in their ears.
I really do think Jesus was crucified and that he really was dead and buried. He thought that he was a son of God in the sense that he was specially chosen by God. I think Jesus really did think he was going to be the Messiah, the future king of Israel. I mean, that is, after all, why they crucified him.